Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a Who review. I am Davros and I'm a Whovian, and today I review Doctor Who, The Web of Fear. So this is a six-part serial from 1968 where, taking straight off after Enemy of the World, the Doctor and his companions, Jamie and Victoria, managed to stabilise the TARDIS only for it to be caught up in a web by the Great Intelligence in space. But they escape, but soon after find themselves in the London Underground in the 60s or the 1970s. But anyway, they find a military operation where they find, the robot Yetis, from a previous story called The Abominable Snowmen. The Yeti are back and they're stomping their way through the London Underground, and of course we find the Great Intelligence are at work. And of course we also get the introduction to the Lethbridge Stewart, who isn't quite the Brigadier just yet, but it is him, Alistair Lethbridge Stewart nonetheless. We also get a returning character from another story called The Abominable Snowmen. Now, I believe this is a sequel story to The Abominable Snowmen, but I'll be honest here, I haven't watched that one, given that it's lost, or not much of it remains, or it's been reanimated. I'm not 100%, but I just haven't got round to seeing that or knowing of that. I know of it, but I haven't seen it. But apparently the showrunner at that time was so confident with the Yeti's success, he got the writers to pen another script with the Yeti in before the first episode of that serial aired. So in the London Underground there's also this deadly toxic web that's going about as well, whilst the rest of the city of London have been evacuated. And of course the Doctor and his allies, have to find a way to stop this web, the robot Yeti and the Great Intelligence. So that's the story there. So what did I like about this one? Well, first of all, this serial was lost for quite some time until it was found in 2011 in Nigeria, I believe, of all the places. But then episode 3 got lost again and presumed stolen, so they had to reanimate the lost episode, which was episode 3, which is pretty much a shame because this is like the first on-screen appearance of Lethbridge Stewart. That episode's lost, but the rest of them have been restored and even got re-released on home media. I believe on a 2021 edition of this serial on DVD they reanimated the episode, but I watched this serial by BritBox, which is a streaming platform that has classic BBC shows including Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who. And when I watched this episode they had still frames, but the audio's still intact. Back to my likes and dislikes. First of all, I like Patrick Troughton as the Doctor. You can't go wrong with him, and I really enjoyed Troughton's performance in this, along with Deborah Welling as Victoria and Frazer Hines as Jamie. Again, Jamie McCrimmon's another favourite companion of mine. And of course, I like Nicholas Courtney. Little did we know that he would go on to be a reoccurring and character favourite throughout the show. I like the return. Well, this was the first time I'd watched the Yeti in the show. I mean, I did see the one in The Five Doctors as a cameo, but yeah, this is like the first proper serial with the Yeti that I watched, and I thought they were quite good. Probably not as intimidating or as scary by today's standards, because, we're immune to a lot these days, but I can probably see how it was unsettling for kids of that time. I also liked, the Great Intelligence, which, again, I was completely unaware were a classic villain until I watched Fury of the Deep or something. I can't remember. I know it's a lost episode where the Great Intelligence makes its first appearance in the show. But yeah, it turns out the Great Intelligence were not just a creation of Stephen Moffat's that came from Matt Smith's era. It turns out they've been around, throughout Troughton's era. So yeah, knowing that, I thought, I know the Great Intelligence, so I know what they were capable of doing. And of course, we get another character in this, a professor who returns much older because it's 40 years later, taking place 40 years after the abominable snowmen. And yeah, his character was interesting. Probably I didn't get to know his character as good from the previous one because, as I said, I haven't seen the abominable snowmen. But this was a good episode, a good serial with some good moments in there. Especially the last few episodes were good. But I gotta be honest, there are my negatives. The first few episodes are a bit slow. They're a bit slow, and at some points I got a bit bored watching it. In fact, I had to take a break in between part 3 and 4 because it was becoming that much hard work. I thought I need to take a break from this, make a cup of tea, and yeah, maybe just chill out for a little bit and come back to it, which I did do, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I finished this serial. But sometimes I find a classic serial that's that many episodes long, they have a lot of time to fill sometimes, and that sometimes can, I feel, hurt the length of that serial, like having bits in there that aren't necessary. But the payoff is good and the wait is worth waiting for, and I'm glad I gave this serial a watch. Maybe I should try and get hold of the 2021 special edition and watch episode 3 Reanimated, because like I said, all I watched from that was still frames. But it's an okay story. I enjoyed watching it, but I did get bored in between here and there when it was a bit slow. But Patrick Troughton more than made up for it with his great performance as the Doctor. Also, at this point, the show was entering a whole new age with they're trying to do away with the Daleks and try and make the Cybermen more of a prominent threat. But of course, it weren't the last we'd see of the Daleks. Probably the last time, maybe in Troughton's era, I'm not sure. But yeah, this was, like I said, a fun one, and I do recommend it for you Troughton fans. So my writing, I will give that a 7. Performances, I will give it an 8. The visuals, there were some okay visuals in there, practical mainly and that, but the visuals I will give it a 6, and my personal, I'll give it a 7. So there you go, there's my ratings on this serial. So have you seen it? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and to hit that notification bell. I've been Davros the Whovian, and this has been a Who review. So yeah, until next time, run for your life.